Alright, ready guys? 3, 2, 1, go. We're lighting.
Okay, so what we're doing right now, one can come on. What we're going to demonstrate is something called the sublimation of iodine. In the bottom, what do you see?
Iodine.
Fire!
This is iodine.
Iodine.
What state of matter is it?
Solid.
It's solid, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up this flask. We're going to put it over heat. Do you have any kind of prediction of what might happen?
The water's going to start boiling.
The water is going to start boiling. So in the test tube, this is a test tube with water and some ice. Okay. You predict it's going to boil. What else do you predict?
That the iodine's going to react to something, to the heat.
The iodine will react to the heat. What do you think might happen when the iodine reacts to the heat?
A chemical reaction.
Chemical reaction. Okay. So I'm just going to pick this up. I can't pick it up like this. Just be careful that you're not being close to it, because if some fumes were to escape, they are not healthy to breathe in. So we just keep a distance from it. So we're going to put this over heat. Okay. We're just going to keep a close eye on our beaker, our flask, to ensure that that flask does not does not get any cracks or anything. What do you see?
It's like going purple.
It's going purple. What do you think that is?
It's a chemical reaction because the flames are heating, well, the heat is heating the iodine.
Okay, a chemical reaction, you say. What else could it be?
I'd say it's a heat reaction because there's the slime red.
Okay. A heat reaction because it's glowing red. Now I am going to pick it up just for safety and just to check that the flask is okay. Just keeping a really close eye, making sure that the glass doesn't have any cracks in it. It's very safe. What we're going to start to see is a change happening. So that solid is turning into a liquid. Okay? Pardon me. No, that's the completely wrong thing. That solid is turning into a gas. It's not even going through the liquid phase. That's called sublimation. So it's going directly from a solid to a gas. It's skipping the liquid phase, and that's called sublimation. Okay? Now, if you pick it up, what do you start to notice? Oh, we have to be very careful. What do you notice on the test tube at the top?
Oh, the ice.
The ice is gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay, the ice is melted. What else do you notice? What else do you notice? Whoa, careful. Whoa, that was dangerous. These might not have been the best times. What else do you notice?
It's got like a real dark purple and it's got a light purple.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh, there's bubbles in the water.
What you should see, and that might be what you're saying, is that at the bottom of the test tube, it's actually starting to form crystals. The solid, once it turns to a gas, and then hits the bottom of the test tube again, turns to a solid again. That's called sublimation. Just good. Listen. We're going to just turn off the Bunsen now. Yeah, good. So now it's good. And now I just want to be very careful. It's going to be really hot. I just need to see. What we will see if we keep heating that over time, with enough heat, all of the solid is going to turn into a gas. And all of that gas is going to deposit on the bottom of the test tube and turn back to a solid. What happens there is that you have something called sublimation, which is where the solid turns into a gas vapor. Sublimation. When it hits this bit here and turns into a solid again, that part is called reverse sublimation.
This is moving.
What you would see over time, and I'll post the 8TA video into our classroom as well, what you would see over time is that all of the solid from the bottom will all turn to a gas and it will all crystallize. Now that it's heated enough, that should happen in a few minutes time. So if you want to stay and maybe take a picture at the end, you'll see that that happens. It's a really cool experiment. So what we noticed was that iodine vapor is actually What was the iodine vapor inside of the flask? What do we see it as?
Solid. I'm seeing it as a solid.
Vapor?
With gas.
What is the gas in there right now? What do you see it as? What color is it?
Purple.
It's purple. That purple gas is iodine vapor. What did the iodine look like when it was solid?
Like
kind of like,
brownish.
like,
Yeah.
kind of
Charcoalish.
like ash.
Yeah, kind of
Black.
like ash, sort of like a metallic, silvery solid at the bottom. Do you see any of that left on the bottom?
I see a little bit.
But not much. Remember how much was on the bottom?
Yeah.
It all turned to a gas. Now it's all coming. It's all coming up and hitting the cold water on top, and it's turning back into a solid. So cool, hey? So cool. Isn't it amazing? It was so funny when I showed this to, I think it was Carter Wilson in ATA. He said, "Oh, is that how they stain glass?" No. You're not staining the glass. It's just a gas that's still floating around in the flask. So if you see, look what's happened over just a few minutes. You can bring your cameras closer if you want. You can see how beautiful those crystals are on the test tube. So cool, hey? Beautiful, isn't it? Maybe take a nice picture if any of you want to go out of video mode. You could take a really cool picture of the purple with the solid. And in a few minutes' time, all of the purple should dissipate. It should all end up reverse sublimating onto the bottom of the
So when we heat it up again, what would it do?
If you heated it up again and there was no solid at the bottom, you shouldn't really see much of a change. You might heat it up enough to cause that solid up there to turn back into a gas.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But mostly it was because that solid on the bottom was so close to the flame. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Really cool. Thanks for staying and waiting.